So
Sarah, I skipped you. My apologies. Okay, so where are you in Arizona? Or is that Arkansas?
it's not Arizona. I wish. No one knows where Arkansas is. Yeah, I'm in the middle, super rural. I'm just surrounded by trees and poison ivy.
Okay. Perfect. So you had a niche, and it was I help creatives and healing professionals, particularly from divorced upbringings, to address the generational and existential roots of persistent patterns like overwhelm, inconsistent motivation, and secret fears of not being good enough, so they can feel more at ease and confident in doing the meaningful work. Great. Okay. So piece by piece, the word creatives, I see this a lot. I just don't tend to lean on it that heavy because I don't know what it means. And I've tried a few times actually in a group where I say, everyone in the chat, put what do you think creatives mean? And there's very little overlap in agreement. But if I were to cut that and just say, okay, I help healing professionals. Now, do you think these people make the connection between their divorced upbringing and the troubles they're having?
No. They definitely don't.
Okay.
I know. That was a big question. Thank you.
Yeah, this is a good one. And I'm sure you're not the only one, right? This is a question of what happens when you see a pattern, right? And you say, oh my God, so many of these healers who are struggling with these things, the root is a divorce when they were a child. That seems to be a big pattern. But none of them know that. None of them recognize that. They're not Googling it. They're not up late at night thinking, if only I could just heal the pain from the divorce and the childhood. They're not thinking it. So what do you do? How do you reach people who don't even know they're struggling with the thing that you offer help with? There are a few things here. One is, so now we have a bit of a list of symptoms, right, that come from having grown up with that upbringing. So we have overwhelm, so like a persistent overwhelm, inconsistent motivation, right? Secret fears of not being good enough. Okay, so those are the three. Is one of those three more top of mind for them? I don't know.
Yeah, it's overwhelm. I mean, they say overwhelm, anxiety, lack of motivation, and then there's this lack of confidence. But
right, and I'm saying out of those, is there one of those that is the one that is most painful for them? That they're like, that one is costing me the most.
Oh, it's between, it's really hard because if you pull into one, it seems like the other. So they think, like it's too hard. There's too much to do because I'm not good at what I'm doing. And therefore, I'm not going to do it. Or I don't want to do it. I avoid doing it.
This is good. So there is that feeling of this is just too hard. It's too much. I can't hack this. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of moment. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this could be a moment where they're a healing professional that's on the. This is another great niching question. I think for everybody is this. It's where do they feel torn? So, for example, for my people, they feel torn often of I either do marketing that is unethical, but it's effective. It does seem to work. Or I do marketing that is ethical and feels really good, but I don't get any clients. And I have to choose. What kind of choice is that? It's terrible. Similarly here, it could be, well, on one hand, I could throw in the towel and just quit and get a job because this is way too hard. But then, oh my God, I've given up on my dream. It's so unfulfilling. I'm working for the man. Or I keep going and I'm overwhelmed all the time. So I could imagine them being in that situation. Mm-hmm. So, but I could see that as a headline. It's like, attention healing professionals. Are you feeling ready to throw in the towel because you don't quite want to quit. Hey, why is this so hard? Why has it not gotten easier over the years? Here's the symptoms you experience around the overwhelm, and you can be as specific as possible. You're seeing too many clients. You're here's the nature of the overwhelm. These are what you would see through your eyes and hear through your ears around the overwhelm. These are the situations you find yourself getting into frequently as a result. And and then a little further down the copy, you say, and you secretly suspect that the reason this is happening is because you're not actually good enough at what you do. Boom. So but then your point of view comes and you say, so if that's you, I'd love to work with you. And in my experience, there's a number of things can be at the root, but it's often childhood stuff. And one of the biggest patterns is divorce. And you just make your case for that. You make your case that there is a connection between divorce and childhood and the symptoms they're experiencing. So there could be something like that. But I think I've never heard anyone working with healing professionals who are at that brink of throwing in the towel. But so then if you do a signature workshop like Bradley's talking about, or a day-long kind of intro workshop, what we're trying to do is make the case for our point of view. And so we say, look, if you're in that situation, there's a number of things at play. One, there's childhood stuff. Almost certain. Number two, there might be some business and structural stuff. Number three, there might be a lack of community support. Number four, there might just be you don't have the professional support that you need. You're trying to do that, you just don't know how to do it. But you can make a list of those things. And then you're just clear which of those you help people with and which you don't. You say, look, if you need the business stuff, here's some coaches I'd recommend. I don't do this. That's not my piece. If you need help with community, here's some simple things you can do, or here's some resources in that. And if you need professional help, I'm certainly somebody like that. But let's talk about the childhood stuff. Yeah. The other thing I would come back to, you could start the whole thing differently by saying, do you suspect that your struggles as a healing professional stem from childhood? Like there's something in your childhood that is stopping you from succeeding, and you're not even sure where to start with that. You could do that if there's enough of them who are just already there. But I love this idea of you touring around and speaking to healing professionals about the divorce dynamic. I could even see you tying it in. Are you ready to divorce your business? No surprise. No surprise you are, because of what happened in your childhood. But I could see if you spoke to enough healing professionals and just, this is one of the things I see. Some of it is a numbers game, because you speak to 100 healing professionals, well, a chunk of them are going to have had that. And if you can make the case for that perspective, not to work with you, but just here are the tethers between these two things, then there's every chance that they're going to, there's every chance that they're going to be leaning forward to that next step in working with you. How does that all land?
That lands really well. And I have to be honest, the divorce is one step away from what's really going on, as I actually do generational and existential work, that like divorce is what they experience in their life, and it comes from somewhere else. And so the fact that so people who don't have divorce in their family may have this too, if it's an emotionally absent parent, but like it comes from, rejecting their parents and not being in, their right place for family constellations kind of work is what I do, psychogenealogy. So it's like, let's take the big fucking picture and look at why your parents didn't get divorced because of X, Y, and Z, and these people are unconsciously over here trying to fix it, or looking at where their parents were looking at some tragedy in the past. And so it's really taking a bigger picture, because psychology tends to throw parents under the bus and leave it there, be like, yeah, fuck your parents. That is all your parents' fault. Sorry. So it does go bigger, and there is the divorce. But so I just have noticed that most people that come to me have divorce, or very similar, or like emotional divorce
Yes.
that's there. And so I was kind of going there, which is my story and the reason why I'm in this work. And so I was looking at, that's my deepest wound, is I'm realizing all of
Mm.
my work has been to like, how can I bring dad back? And so I'm seeing that happen in a lot of people. And so I was leaning into that. But I can see that that's still a step away.
But that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, but that can also be in a sales letter. That can also be in an
Yeah.
intro workshop where you make those connections.
Okay.
Where you make the divorce connection and you say, does this make sense? Everybody's nodding. And you say, but wait, there's more.
Okay.
There's a level deeper here. We don't stop there, because you can go through a divorce, as a child, see it and not have this. So what is it about the particular kind of divorce and where it comes from that leads to this, these feelings of overwhelm and inconsistent motivation and feeling like you're not good enough? Here's what it is. Once you lay out the case, because then what happens is people are sitting there and they say, oh my God, that makes sense. I need help with that. I don't know how to deal with that myself. Rather than, it's a big song and dance about, isn't this painful and those symptoms? And we have the secret. If you just sign up, then you're going to learn what it is. There's something in your childhood. It's a secret pattern. And we'll tell you what that pattern is when you pay for I think
Yeah.
it's really better. And I mean this ethically and strategically. It's just better to let them know how you see it. And then the people who resonate with that will move forward. There you go.
I love that. My secret question was, now what the heck do I do to draw people in? So thank you so much. Yeah, that was
Okay.
next. I so appreciate your time and insight. Thank you.